weekday mornings from 10 to 11. It's time for Whoa and Friends on Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Look up on the wall. There on the wall.
Welcome in on a already crazy kind of Tuesday. Word is in. The Tigers are going to play. They're going to play against South Florida in Tampa. The game has been moved to Saturday, 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern. If I were a odds maker in Las Vegas, I would be setting this up at 20 to 1, 30 to 1. Honestly, I'm scratching my head. We just listened. If you were a participant in Mornings with Greg and Eli, because they had a meteorologist in Florida on. Very, very telling. So this meteorologist who's seen it all, he saw Helene a week and a half ago, right? Well, they still have debris, by the way, that's going to go blowing in the wind. This meteorologist is suggesting that when Hurricane Milton hits shore, it will bring with it 15 to 20-foot water surges. They've never seen that in history. He said the winds would be 100 to 125 miles per hour. If you aren't aware of the geography and setup of Tampa, the airport and Raymond James Stadium are very close to the water. If that surge is that way and that wind is that way, I don't understand how there's going to be a football game Saturday at 2:30. And I don't understand if indeed they have pretty good science out there that is telling you this is what is going on. And the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has 24-hour maintenance workers the last 2 days now, including today, working over the clock, 24 hours, to clear all the stuff from Helene as much as they can get, because otherwise that potentially will be blowing in the wind. All the destroyed buildings and trees and everything else that's still on the streets. They are doing their very best to get that stuff up so that doesn't become even worse. And they've decided, I guess because South Florida put their foot down with the American Athletic Conference, makes you wonder how strong this new commissioner and this conference really is. And if anybody wonders, well, now why Memphis was trying so hard to figure out a way with the Pac and everything else, this decision to me takes a real told you sort of response. How could you do this, try to play this game? Literally, what are we? We're talking 2:30 on Saturday, so that is moving the game up 12 hours, 13 hours?
Yeah, if that, yeah.
After this, the biggest storm in terms of surge and wind, the biggest storm ever to hit Tampa. Now, I'll take it all back, and I'll say I'm an idiot if this thing peters out. But everybody on television, every meteorologist, every scientist is saying different. 20 to 1, 30 to 1, I'm going to make it, that game is played Saturday at Raymond James Stadium. I had heard, apparently, the meteorologist did sort this out, that Raymond James was going to be used as an emergency haven for those that were displaced, that needed medical service. But he made the point that has to be indoors. And if you'll recall, in New Orleans, Katrina, they used the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the Superdome, but that's inside.
Yeah, I've already seen pictures where they've got where the Rays play all set up as kind of a shelter. So I know they're going to use that, but I guess maybe you can go over to Orlando, but that's still a far distance. Other than that, Tampa doesn't really have much.
Everybody thinks Orlando is like right next door.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a good distance.
It's I will look for the mileage. It's not as far as Memphis to Nashville, but it's I want to say it's 70, 80 miles. It's not like you're going across the street.
Right.
I read this. Now, it was a message board on the Daily Memphian, to be honest, so you got to be careful there. But I had read that
85 miles.
85 miles.
Yeah.
So it's not across the
about
street.
about an
It's
hour and a half.
Yeah. I had read that there are 3 collegiate stadiums available in Atlanta, which is pretty close to halfway.
Sure.
So why didn't the conference office say, you know what, we're going to talk to Georgia Tech, it's open. We're going to talk to Georgia State, which is the old Turner Field,
That's right.
it's open. And then there's another one that was open. I don't know what it is. Georgia Southern's not there, is it?
No, they're a little more south, I think.
Anyway, that would have made sense to me. And you could have possibly, had they made this decision a little earlier, you could have possibly moved this, kept that Friday evening date. So, I don't know. I just, it makes me question the leadership of the American Athletic Conference. That's the best way I can put it. It's also going to be even tougher, and this is a break for Memphis. It's tougher for USF because guess what? School closed yesterday. But school closes. Can the football team still practice? And where are they practicing? School's closed. Maybe they can, but
starting
seems to
tomorrow,
me,
I don't
everything
think they do
is
in practice.
disrupted. Yes,
Yeah.
I don't. They're at a disadvantage competitively there. I mean, if I were them, I would have said, okay, we're moving. We're going to Atlanta, or heck, come to Memphis. We'll put you. Remember. Which team spent a bunch of time in Memphis during Katrina?
Katrina,
it wasn't
I don't
Tulane,
remember.
was it?
No. I remember a couple years ago when we started the season against Nichols, they were displaced because of a hurricane or something, and I think they spent some time here, sometime somewhere else, but I know they were here for like a week and a half before that game started because of what was going on down there.
So if you're proactive as a conference, you say, okay, we're going to figure this out. We're going to move it to a neutral. We're going to try to play that Friday night thing because we got 2 teams that are really both need. This is an elimination game for the championship.
Yeah.
We need to play this game, and we want it on ESPN because these are 2 quality teams. And they didn't do that. And then they did this crazy thing about playing this game, basically moving it 12 hours after what is supposedly going to be the biggest storm to ever hit Tampa. Wow. We'll see. We'll see. There is some news today in the NFL, and we are talking a lot of NFL because Jeff Moore will join us at 10:25. Mike Keith, the voice of the Titans, will join us after that. Big NFL day on Tuesdays for us. Robert Saleh, the New York Jets head coach, after a disappointing but not a disastrous start at 2-3, fired this morning. Gotta wonder, did Aaron Rodgers have anything to do with this?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Really don't. Maybe Jeff Moore or Mike Keith might have the answers to that. We will be talking about that. I know you've been watching this. You know how much I love baseball, too.
Oh, yeah.
All 4 divisional series tied at 1-1. Could you ask for anything better?
No, not at all. And that game yesterday between the Tigers and the Guardians, what a game. If you like baseball, that was the game for you. Maybe if you're just a casual fan, maybe not for you. A lot of strikeouts, not a lot of hits. But if you were a fan of baseball, that was the game for you. And then Kerry Carpenter, who I don't think many people are familiar with, but has been a really good player for the Tigers this year, comes up big with that 3-run homer off of Emmanuel Clase, no less.
How many games have been decided by dramatic home runs already between wild card and LDSs? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Nutso. Yeah. Crazy, absolute nutso stuff for sure. And can we have another crazy Saturday in college football? We'll talk about that with our good friend and the big cheese and the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. We'll do that in just a minute. We are sitting in the Family Leisure Studios, but you need to go. And I don't know how much longer it's going to last, but they still got that biggest spa sale going on. You save thousands on in-stock hot tubs. They're ready for delivery. and they start at under $2,900. The cold plunges, that's the newest thing where you get your heart rate really going. I guess this is a Nordic kind of thing that is catching on. You can get that for under $4,000. Swim spas, the Cadillac, $17,499, and there's special financing available. All you got to do is head on over I-40 and Whidden Road. Tell Billy, tell Lindsay, tell them all we sent you, and that you want to cash in on the world's biggest spa sale going on at Family Leisure. Let's bring in our head honcho. He's all excited. He's going to announce on Thursday, I think, on these airways, with John Harden, who the coaches of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School Football Classic will be. We'll get into that in a second. But I'd love your take on the decision now to play that game in Tampa, 2:30 Central. Basically, we're moving that game about 12, 13 hours from when it was supposed to be played after the biggest storm in the history of Tampa is going to come in Thursday morning. Craziness, in my opinion. Don't quite understand that decision. I'd love you as a sports administrator for many years. I'd love your take on this one.
Well, I'm kind of stunned that so the game was going to kick off on Saturday afternoon. Is that correct?
Saturday afternoon, 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern. That's what they plan at Raymond James after, and Greg and Eli had a meteorologist from Florida on, after what they're expecting, 15 to 20-foot water surges, and by the way, the airport and the stadium is by the water. Those surges with 100 to 125 mile per hour winds. It's the biggest, according to this meteorologist, storm to ever hit Tampa.
Yeah, and I've heard and read that it's in over 100 years a big storm that hit it. And so I'm not sure who made the decision there. My guess is that South Florida insisted on having a home game. I know that the University of Memphis was willing and ready and able to swap years with them, play next year in Tampa, move the game up here to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, and play here in Memphis. So if they think they can get a team, Memphis can fly in to the airport. The airport's closed right now. When it opens, who knows? But, I think it's tone deaf, and I'll throw stone at South Florida right now because I think it's going to be very difficult for people to get to the game down there in South Florida. So the tenants and the hardship on all of the constituency is going to be very, very, very difficult.
I'm going to take it a step further. I understand South Florida going, wait a second. we want the home field advantage for this. This, to me, and I don't know the whole dynamics, but from a distance observation, you've got to have a strong conference and a conference commissioner who's going to say, wait a second, this is too dangerous. This is too unpredictable. Let's move it to Memphis. Let's move it to Atlanta. There's 3 open collegiate stadiums right there. That's halfway. But there's other options that you could have used here, except to back it up 12 or 13 hours and play it in a stadium that could very easily be affected by water, surge, and wind.
Yeah, well, and everybody talks about, well, this is for the safety of the players and for the safety of the fans coming and so on. But in reality, I think it's a bad decision, so I guess I'll stand on that. I think there would have been better ways to handle it because I've been through a cleanup of a flood, and it is, those of you who have on your listening audience, it's unbelievably difficult with the mud and the debris and the hardship on families and the loss of life. I saw the mayor of Tampa saying today, if you don't leave, you're going to die. I mean, that's unbelievable. And then here we're talking about, playing a football game there right away, So, yeah, unfortunate, but hope Memphis will get down there. If they do actually end up playing the game, they'll take care of business, get the win that they need so badly.
Yeah, well, it's a big showcase game. I understand why you want to play it, and that's why it should have been moved. You should have tried to secure that Friday night spot somewhere else. It's head scratching to me. We'll see how all of this plays out because I'm putting it at 20 to 30 to 1 that game is played at Raymond James on Saturday at 2:30 Central.
Good. What time are you all?
We don't know.
What time are you all leaving? You don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
And you can then.
No. Yeah, who knows?
Well,
Who knows
lot
if the
of-
hotel that you're staying at is going to be? Because, by the way, that hotel is right by the Amelia Center where the NHL team plays, the Lightning. And
Right.
that is on the water as well. So,
Yeah,
who knows?
Well, we'll see. But have a good. If you end up getting down there, take your water wings with you, David.
Well, a friend of mine's got a boat that's landed, that's
I
there.
guess-
Maybe he'll pick us up in a boat.
I guess you
Matt
shouldn't
Eflin,
have
by the way,
humor about it.
one of our sponsors, Matt Eflin, actually has a boat that he charters out that is right next to that hotel downtown by the water.
Well, he better be moving it.
Yeah,
Right now.
well, or maybe he'll come pick us up when we land in water. I don't know.
Okay, good. Well,
Crazy.
good luck to the Tigers and good to have a good trip.
What a weekend, huh? What a Saturday. 5 of the top 11 teams fell, including Vanderbilt over Alabama. It's the first time in 40 years that the Doors beat the Crimson Tide. It's the first time they've ever beaten a number one. We all thought Sam Pittman would be fired after the Tennessee game when the season started. He's 4-2 after knocking off the Vols. I mean, this is wild stuff. Can we see another weekend like that?
Well, I think so, and it all goes back to what we've always talked about on your show, David, that if you have a trigger quarterback, today's state of either both college and pro football, having a quarterback that can make plays, is making smart decisions, and can run and escape is the key to winning. And Vanderbilt picked up that young quarterback from New Mexico State, who, remember, last year everybody couldn't believe it when he beat Auburn, and now he's taken down the number one team in the country. So when you have a quarterback like that, and the Vanderbilt is pretty steady now. Remember, they beat Virginia Tech early,
Right.
and then they could have beaten Missouri. They maybe should have beaten Missouri. Their field goal kicker missed a couple kicks. They would have
And they
beaten
lost
them.
by
So,
3. And then the one it's the worst is the Georgia State loss. But if you look at that score, it's 4 points. So the 2 Vandy losses by a total of 7 points.
Well, and tying that in, now Vanderbilt is in the hunt to be bowl eligible, and I know we're going to get to it in a few minutes, but some of the national prognosticators have penciling in Vanderbilt to play in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game. So we haven't had Vanderbilt since James Franklin. I can't remember how many years ago that was when
It's a
Vanderbilt
while.
was here.
Yeah.
So yeah, congratulations to Vandy, and the greatest fun is the Vandy fans, and Saban was right to a certain extent that the Vandy fans have not really been totally committed to their program. I had a son that went to Vanderbilt Law School, and there was not a lot of enthusiasm in the student body, and I texted him on Saturday and said, hey, the Vandy fans, they don't know what to do, so they march the goalpost down there, 3 miles to the river, and then throw the goalpost into the river. That's an unheard of. That'll go down in the trivia record books about the Vandy fans not knowing what to do when they win the game like that.
I love it that they threw that thing in the river, and then the firefighters said, well, we don't want that to be a nuisance. They went in, scuba dived it out, got it, and now they're chopping it up and selling it. And maybe they'll use some of that money to pay off the $100,000 fine they're getting for storming the field. Arkansas is even worse. It's their second time, $250,000 for storming the field after they beat Tennessee.
Yeah, but at least Arkansas saved their goalpost. But no, it's great, and that's what makes college football so much fun, so exciting, and every week there's something that can happen like this. And yes, to answer your question, there'll probably be some big upset. It may not be in the SEC, but around the country there's so many big games, and college football really is number 2 in the country as far as interest and excitement. Only the NFL has more followers, and right now college football beats the NBA and beats every other sport right now as far as interest. Here we are in the middle of Major League playoffs, and in years past, Major League Baseball was number 2 to the NFL, and now college football, as far as interest and viewers and attendance, is right up there in number 2 in the sports world.
All right, let's move to your luncheon on Thursday, which I guess now I'll be able to attend. That is the annual AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School Football Classic, where there's at least one member of every school that is invited to attend the game. You are going to name 2 new head coaches. All the assistants are head coaches at different schools. I don't think you've ever had, in all the years that you've done this, guys that repeated. You've never had a head coach do it twice. And several coaches have retired or even passed away since the beginning that were head coaches. That's how long this has been around. It's really a tremendous tradition.
Well, it really is terrific. And, David, you were on the original committee, 25 years ago that helped design this wonderful tradition. You hit it right on the head, and it's been terrific for these young student athletes here in the Memphis metro area, because when we started it, remember we did that survey, and there were usually about 8 or 10 Memphis area seniors who got scholarships to go. Now, with the exposure they get in this week of practice with each other and college coaches coming in here, we're averaging in the mid-40s of the number of student athletes from the Memphis area that get scholarships. And so it is really a terrific tradition, and to have, and one thing, and I think, again, I give you credit, part of the committee there, that said, when people said, well, why don't you expand this and get the best players from down into Mississippi and over into Arkansas or even into middle Tennessee? And we said, no, this is not to just focus on those players, the best players in a 3-state area. This is to focus on the Memphis metro area. And there's no question that the high school football in the Memphis area is at a high level this year. There's so many good teams, good players. Look at Rodney Salisbury, what he's doing, bringing back Whitehaven, and so it really is terrific. The facilities are getting better, and this is a big part of that. And so to have, as I say, we'll be announcing 12 coaches, 2 head coaches, and 5 assistants. All are head coaches at their high school, and we'll have a great luncheon there on Thursday noon, and we'll announce who will be the head coaches and great decisions. So we spread it around. Your point there is 100% right, that we always want another young coach or middle-aged coach. We had Glenn Rogers Sr., remember, as the coach one year, but we're going to make sure that I
remember guys like the central coach that's no longer with us, Al Tate, I believe was his name. Al Cates, yeah.
Right.
Stan Collins is one of the early guys. Of course, he's retired. He's, thank goodness, still with us. But Bobby Austin, guy just retired. We've had so many great coaches along the way. All right, real quick, what's the latest prognostication? Is Vandy coming to your game? Could Arkansas now be in your game?
Here it's probably there's depth of potentials is so strong this year. Let me just read you some of these. These are from the national prognosticators. We got at ESPN, Arkansas versus UCF, and Kentucky versus BYU. Now, this is a team from the SEC versus a team from the Big 12. Then we've got an Oklahoma State coming in from USA Today. Then another Arkansas from the College Football Network, a Texas Tech from the CBS Sports. And here's Vanderbilt from 24/7 Sports. We got West Virginia. We got a couple more. Here's another one, South Carolina. So we've got a lot of potentials here, and I think the depth and quality of both leagues is really at a high. And so we're going to have an excellent matchup here on when we get down to Friday evening. And so a great primetime kickoff is 6 p.m. here in Memphis on December 27th. So we invite everybody to come out to have a great Friday night party or party activity. We'll have, of course, our pregame buffet there Friday afternoon. So anybody that's going out and go out to have something to eat or drink, come on out and join us on a Friday afternoon, December 27th.
Arkansas, Oklahoma State, or BYU? I don't know. Any of those are intriguing to me. I love it. Vandy. If either Arkansas or Vandy in the game would do my heart good. Thank you, Mr.
So that's your prognostication. I'll mark it down, David.
Oh, it's not a prognostication. It's a wish. I would love for either of those two teams to get bowl eligible and come here, because there would be an excitement for them. They're, in particular, Vandy. To get to a bowl game would be great.
One last parting thought. Teams that play in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, usually the next year they have excellent years. So shout out to both University of Memphis and Iowa State. Iowa State undefeated, ranked, and Memphis 4-1 and on track to have a great winning season as well.
Last year's teams are 9-1. That's pretty darn good. Thank you, Mr. E. We'll talk next Tuesday.
Thank you, David.
That is our man, the Big Cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. That is Steve Earhart. When we come back, the Robert Saleh news and a lot on the NFL with the one and only Jeff Moore. He is right around the corner.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, SIG, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Quirky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Jenkins Floors and More invite you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Welcome back in. Time to talk some NFL, and there is NFL news. And we had all these incredible games. 9 of the 12 on Sunday. Well, I don't know if you'll ever match this kind of drama. 9 of 12 ended up being decided on either the last possession or the last play. That's crazy stuff. But then today, the word just came out about an hour ago, maybe less, that Robert Saleh, the New York Jets coach, after a 2-3 beginning with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, has been let go by the owner, fired. He's there 3.5 years, and early in the season, they let him go. I'm surprised, honestly. You would have thought he would have had a chance to right the ship. He's got really good defense. He's got Rodgers on offense. I don't know if this is a disconnect with Aaron Rodgers. I'm not sure what it is. I love your take, Jeff Moore.
I'm shocked by this move. I've been a Coach Robert Saleh fan for a few years. Think he's a really good head coach and good leader of men. Obviously, there's something going on behind the scenes because you're 5 games in. You don't even have 50% of the season played. It's a really small sample size to make that kind of move. So I got to believe that there's something, and it always comes out in this day of social media. We'll hear more about this story, but there's something that's not cooking. Now, granted, their defense appeared to have taken a step back. They weren't nearly, at least in these 5 games, not nearly as aggressive and dominant as they've been last year. Aaron Rodgers has kind of been up and down, but he's shown that he's still got what it takes. They've had some injuries in their running game. it's just not enough information. It's not enough of a sample size to me to make a logical move. So this is certainly something that I guess we'll find out more later.
Well, the first thing that you think about, honestly, would be the relationship with the star quarterback. He would have the ability to persuade the owner, who's paying this guy a lot of money, to say, look, it's a disconnect.
Right.
But I don't know that.
Yeah.
We have not heard.
Yeah, I get the impression they had a good relationship. You know, I think the little gesture on the sidelines where Aaron appeared to kind of push him off was just joking. And Aaron's expressed
he had a pretty intense look when he did it, though.
But and Aaron has mentioned that he and Coach Saleh had a good relationship. So again, I think there's more to it, and it'll come out.
Yeah. All right. This was such a dramatic week.
Yeah.
There's only 2 undefeateds left. That's Kansas City, who I would not say looked fantastic last night, but maybe that was because New Orleans gave them a good fight in Kansas City. And then there's Minnesota, which I believe is a major surprise. And, wow, they're running over people.
Kansas City, I think, really demonstrating just a championship mettle and mentality in that they win ugly games. They win when they don't play well. And that's the difference between great teams and average teams, or good teams that are good but not great. They've got people missing their running game. They're missing their starter, Pacheco. They don't know when he'll be back. And, you know, Kelsey's gotten off to a slow start. They just
had a big night last night.
Yeah, they just have that championship mentality. Minnesota is a fascinating team, though, because nobody really saw them. I mean, nobody saw Sam Darnold having the kind of year that he's having. We know Justin Jefferson is unguardable and an incredible talent. Their defense has surprised us with the way that they're playing. They've got a great defensive coordinator. We know that. Brian Flores is fantastic. But this Minnesota team is fascinating because their defense is playing extremely well, and Sam Darnold he's just playing with a lot of confidence. They're protecting him. They're throwing long. They're throwing intermediate. They're throwing short. They're running the ball well. Now, their division is going to be tough. I think Green Bay is going to be a good team all year. I love what I'm seeing out of Caleb Williams and the way the Bears are starting to understand what they could do with him.
I'm glad you brought that up. I got a tough question for you coming.
And then, you know, Detroit. To me, Detroit's the best team, second best team in that division. So it's going to be fascinating in the NFC North going forward for sure.
I'm with you. I do think that division might be the best one in all of football. And I'm not sure when the last time I could say the black and blue division of the NFC is the best in pro football. But the Vikings are perfect. The Lions are 3-1. The Bears and the Packers are both 3-2. In that whole grouping now, I'm not sure there's a bad quarterback. Every quarterback seems to be pretty darn good. And if you look at point differentials here, the Vikings are plus 63, about as good as it gets. Everybody is at least plus 20. The Bears are 28, the Lions 22, the Packers plus 20.
I think that is the best division in football. I thought going into the season that would be the AFC North with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, but Cincinnati and Cleveland have fallen off the map.
Yeah, they're both 1-4.
So, I mean, these guys are playing well, but it's exciting for me to see Chicago being relevant again and really playing some good football. And some throws that Caleb Williams made this past Sunday were outstanding. So, I mean, he's starting to get relaxed, understand the speed of the game, taking advantage of a great receiver in DJ Moore. This team is going to be exciting to watch. I love it.
I am excited for the first time. And they play Jacksonville in London. They're favored to win the game. They could be 4-2. I can't remember the last time Chicago was 4-2. And then they'll start playing each other it's the first time I've ever seen you go 6 games before you even play a divisional rival. Yeah. That's not ever happened before that I can remember. But here's a hard one, a tough question for you. We got a 5-game sample. The Bears are 3-2. Williams' last 2 games has looked brilliant. The Washington Commanders are 4-1. By the way, they're plus 40 on their scoring differential. They also have a Heisman Trophy winner. We know 2 years ago Caleb Williams won it. Last year at LSU, Jaden Daniels was the winner. He's been unbelievable. 5 games in. The Bears had the choice. I'm asking you, GM Jeff Moore, which one, now that you've seen 5 games, which quarterback would you have taken?
Which team?
The Bears had the first pick.
Okay.
So the Bears could have taken Daniels or Caleb Williams. They chose Williams hands down.
I think they made the right choice.
Okay.
I think they made the right choice because he is a bigger physical, more of a physical specimen, I think, and can take a little. We'll have to take a little more punishment. My biggest concern for Jaden, even though I think he's as skilled as far as arm talent, better runner, but I'm concerned about his size because sometimes these guys get blindsided. But he's playing better by far as far as the 2 quarterbacks are concerned. He's got a better adjustment. I like his offensive coordinator better. I think he's going to have a much better year because I think what they're doing with him, they're using him the way they should.
Here's the one thing. You're right. He's not that big.
Yeah.
He runs too much.
Yeah.
Look what happened to RG3. That's the guy I always think about.
Yeah.
He could have been great if he didn't get injured so much because he tried to run the ball too much. And that's the one thing I do appreciate about Caleb Williams, unlike Justin Fields, too. To me, there's a little Fields in Daniels.
Right.
In terms of, okay, I make my read. I don't quite see it. I'm going to run. I know I can get some yards.
Yeah.
And Williams is now, he's on the second and third reads. You can see that is happening.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons why, and he's a bigger guy. So I think his lifespan looks to be a little bit longer, but who knows? 5 games in, it's a very small sample size. Speaking of quarterbacks, how about Kirk Cousins?
Wow.
Here's a guy, so many teams have given up on him.
Yeah.
509 yards. You know what's great about this? I love this story, is that he does this in front of Matt Ryan, who had the record at 506 yards, right? Now, he didn't need an overtime to get that, but that's the day they put Matt Ryan into the Ring of Honor, their Hall of Fame, right, in the stadium. He's there, and Cousins does that. That's crazy.
Ironic, man. Yeah. And the way he did it, I mean, they needed a big play. They needed a big drive at the end of the game. I've always been a Kirk Cousins fan, and I understand that, he's not been huge in the playoffs and seems to be a great regular season quarterback. But I've always liked the way he threw the ball. He seems to always be decisive. And I'm delighted that he's off to a great start with Atlanta. They look like a team that you got to be ready to play when you line up against them.
I agree. All right. Before we move on to next week, any other observations in this dramatic Super Sunday that we had?
Well, I'm still really, really impressed with what the Texans are doing. They lost 1 game, but they seem like they've just rebounded from that, are really playing well. And it was a big win for them to beat Buffalo the way they did, given the way Josh Allen had come out and was playing so well so far this season. I'm so really excited about that. Have to give some kudos to Dak Prescott in the way he was able to engineer a drive in Pittsburgh, having not played well in that game. And I hope that that's going to be a turning point for this Cowboy franchise to realize what they have with this team. They've got to get some guys back defensively. But that NFC East is going to be fascinating going down the stretch, too.
Yeah. There, no doubt. When you see a day like Sunday, you just realize it's just what Pete Rozelle wanted. On any given Sunday, any team can beat any other team, and that's really the truth. And I think this year more than ever, we are seeing so much parity. Usually there's more than 2 teams through only 5 weeks to be undefeated. And you would maybe expect this from the 2-time defending champion Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think you would have seen this at all from Minnesota.
No.
They came in that was so banged up. Nobody knew they'd get quarterback play like this. It's quite the story.
It is quite the story, and Dave, I'm reminded of even college games. It's one thing. One of the reasons I love sports is especially where you've got teams that are well coached to where if your team is playing against an opponent that has a much better record, and you get them mentally ready to play, you have things happen like what happened to us in Arkansas. And I didn't like Tennessee losing, but I love that Arkansas won. And they beat us. I mean, it wasn't a fluke. They went out there and physically whooped our butts on defense and offense. And I love that. That's when Vanderbilt did the same thing with Alabama.
You know what both those teams have in common? Look at time of possession. 42 minutes for Vandy in the Alabama game.
Yeah.
Not only did they hold the ball, but then they would get points.
Yeah.
And crazy. And honestly, Arkansas did the same thing. I think it was like 35 and a half or 36 minutes they had the ball.
And you do that by being more physical in the line of scrimmage. You get more first downs, and you're just it's great. It's the reason I love sports.
Yeah.
I mean,
No. I mean, 5 of the top 11 fell on Saturday, and then you had the drama on Sunday. This is why we love football as a country. Okay, we start on Thursday night. Al Michaels, Peacock, that'll be San Francisco hurting against Seattle. San Francisco's not looking like the team we thought they'd be.
I mean, injuries is the biggest thing, and if they could get their guys back healthy, all they have to do is win against Seattle, and they're tied for first place. So even though it's been bumpy for them so far this year, they're still in a really good position to still have a great year. Seattle is playing well. They just need to continue to be consistent offensively and defensively, and that division is going to be interesting going down the stretch.
And then I think it's that Fox national game. Detroit 3-1 against Dallas, America's team. And Detroit, we think, although the Vikings hold it at the moment, we think Detroit's the best in the NFC North. That's going to be a great game on Sunday afternoon.
I think it will be. And again, a test for the Cowboys because, they're trying to find themselves. And this is a good opponent for them to really measure and see how well they're doing.
All right, my friend, thank you so much. I don't know if we'll have as much craziness over the 2 days next week as we did this week, but who knows, because there's so much parity around now.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.
Me too. Thank you so much. That's our friend, former Vol, former Ram. That is Jeff Moore. Before we take the break and bring in Mike Heath, I forgot to mention the Grizzlies last night win the exhibition game in Dallas. Of course, the Mavs didn't play many of their stars, and I'll give Taylor Jenkins a lot of credit. He played everybody. Clark had 11. Pippen had 6 assists. Aldama had 8 rebounds. Edey looked pretty good, 18 minutes, 6.7 rebounds, pretty good defense. Fitness, I think, is a question mark a little bit. Ja, 13 and 4 with 3 assists in only 13 minutes, but here's 17 minutes. But here's the problem. Got hurt in the second quarter, came back, hurt that ankle again in the third quarter.
Right.
They're going precautionary. You got Triple J sitting on the bench with a hamstring issue. G.G. Jackson and Vince Williams already out. What is this thing with the Grizzlies and injuries? My goodness.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, thankfully, it sounds like after the game, everybody said that he's fine, and they're, like you said, just going to take it precautionary the rest of preseason probably. But, yeah, it was not good because that first one, they were trying to go on a fast break, and the Mavericks were, and they kind of threw it, tried to bounce past it, and went right off his ankle. He went out, and then he came back, went up for a dunk, came down kind of wrong on that ankle, and took himself out that second time.
It was weird. The one where the ball hit his foot, his ankle turned as the ball was hitting him.
Yeah.
So that was something that was happening. The timing was so
It
fluky.
was weird. It was very weird.
On that one. But, if he doesn't play another exhibition game, who cares? Right?
That's right. Yeah.
Just hope he plays
Exactly.
65 to 70 of the 82
I just want him
games.
ready for the regular season.
Right. Yeah, that's all that really. It used to be you go, I want him to play 80 of the 82. With Ja, I'd take 65.
That's right.
At this particular point in time. Let us take the break. When we come back, we head to Nashville. He's rested. He's ready. He's Mike Keith, the voice of the Titans, and he is next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
To understand what makes Genesis Diamonds so different than other jewelry stores, you have to go back over 40 years to the diamond cutting capital of Tel Aviv, Israel. That's where Genesis owner Boaz Ramon grew up, in the center of the diamond universe. His connections with the best diamond cutters allowed him special access, giving rise to a thriving wholesale business here in the United States. Then, after a few years, this wholesaler changed the game and started selling these precious diamonds direct to the public at the same prices he had sold to the jewelry stores. The no middleman concept became an instant success. Today, Genesis Diamonds provides that extraordinary value to people right here in Middle Tennessee, leading the industry with the highest quality diamonds that still come straight from the best cutters, offered at the guaranteed best price of any jewelry store in America. Genesis Diamonds, a truly revolutionary concept with a unique history rooted in quality, committed to excellence, and always focused on value. Genesis Diamonds, luxury grade Rolexes, and popular Perkins Extended.
You're a contractor and you need concrete coating and supplies in Memphis fast, and you get this answer? I think we can order that stuff, but you're going to have to wait a few days for delivery. Why wait? Get your concrete coatings and supplies now at TSS Supply, where everything you need is in stock. If you're working in the tri-state Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi area, everything you need for concrete coating is at TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road, Memphis. TSS Supply specializes only in concrete coatings and supplies all in one place. If you're looking for a particular item, need large quantities, or just have general questions, call 901-729-0565, 729-0565, or you can email your question to Brad at tsssupply.com. The friendly, knowledgeable folks at TSS Supply have over 150 years combined experience in concrete coatings, materials, and supplies. Contractors, are you in town for a job or getting ready to do a job for a customer during their holiday shutdown? Then you should visit TSS Supply for your concrete coatings and supplies. Why wait for materials when TSS Supply has everything you need in stock and they can get it to you today or within 24 hours? TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
All right, let's head to Nashville. He's rested. I wanted to talk about the exhale, the win over Miami, what you're working on this week, the debate, and we'll get into it between Will Levis and Mason Rudolph. But there's early news today. Jets owner Woody Johnson has seen enough of his head coach, 3.5 years early in this 4th year. Robert Saleh, the head coach, fired after a 2-3 start. Stunning in a lot of different areas here. I'm not sure. Is this Aaron Rodgers' influence? Who knows at this point? Maybe you do. Mike Keith, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. Glad you're back. It's not stunning, in my opinion. I think with where they are, understand this. They host Buffalo on Monday Night Football in 6 days. If they win that game, they're in first place in the AFC East, and they're 2-0 in the division. So what this is about is saying we have a quarterback who's nearly 41. We don't have time. There's obviously some disconnect between Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers, or Robert Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator, or Robert Saleh and all of the above. The Jets are averaging 287 yards per game on offense. Aaron Rodgers has an 81 passer rating. He's normally, right at 100. There are things that he can still do. So what he's done is he's saying this season is still 12 games to play and a lot to play for us. If we can get in the tournament as a division winner, which they can, then we're very dangerous. And Jeff Ulrich is a guy that's very popular. He's the defensive coordinator. Right. I would imagine now the head coach won't mess with Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers anymore. And so what you've got, Dave, is you've got a win-now move, much like what you would see NBA teams and Major League Baseball teams do in certain situations where they say, we've got to make a change for right now. This may not be the forever. Jeff Ulrich may not be the forever choice, although a lot of people have seen him as a future head coach for some time. But what this is about is the moment, because they've got Buffalo at home on Monday night. They go to Pittsburgh. That's a winnable game. They go to New England. That's a winnable game. If you get Buffalo in New England, you're 3-0 in the division. You're halfway home to being defeated or undefeated in the division. New England's not good. Miami's not good. There are questions about Buffalo after the last two games, and they're saying we got to go now. And so that's what they're doing.
You break this down so beautifully. The most interesting thing to me is, though, if there's disconnect, and I don't know if that one caught on the sidelines exchange between Saleh and Rodgers, which did not look friendly, and they joked about it afterwards, if that was an insight into a dynamic that was not going to be functional. I don't really know, but I find it interesting they go with Ulrich over Hackett because Hackett would be Rodgers' guy, right? You would think Woody Johnson would have gone that way.
And Nathaniel Hackett was a disaster as a head coach.
He was.
And I think what this is all about is and Hackett's a different cat, too. He's very much a Rodgers guy. He's not the same personality. Ulrich is a very popular guy with players. Players love him. Jeff Ulrich is a guy that has that it factor about him. And if the owner says, listen, we're promoting you to be the head coach of the team, but you just stay out of the offense, that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Because what he understands is if we go 9-3 the rest of the way and win the AFC East, I'm going to get to keep this job and do whatever I want with the offense going forward. So the bigger picture as a goal will motivate him at this moment to stay out of it. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a lot left. We saw him in Nashville in week 2, and I told you, he's not going to win the MVP. He's not that guy anymore. But they are so good on defense. Dave, they're only giving up 256 yards a game on defense.
Yeah, but how much of that is Saleh and how much of that was Ulrich?
Well, Ulrich was Saleh's guy. And as a matter of fact, San Francisco, when DeMeco Ryans left to become the head coach in Houston, Shanahan tried to hire Ulrich there, and the Jets wouldn't let him go. And at that moment, Woody Johnson said, people really respect this guy. He's not just a Robert Saleh guy. He's more.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what this is, that's what this is all about. I mean, remember, Antonio Pierce went 5-4 last year as the Raiders interim coach.
Right.
We interviewed him for our job. Before the Raiders named him, we went ahead, we brought him in for an interview, and he did very well. So in these situations, you can end up with something else, even if you don't get the long-term job where you are as the interim. So it's a big opportunity for him. But yeah, there was when I saw Saleh was fired, the one thing I thought to myself for sure is it will not be Nathaniel Hackett.
Be Mike Adamas. Tell me, do you think this works?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. I think when you have Garrett Wilson and you have Breece Hall and you have some of the other talents that they have offensively, And now what you're saying is Aaron Rodgers, just do whatever you want to. They're essentially doing for Aaron Rodgers at this moment what was done in Tampa for Tom Brady. They're just handing him the keys. They know it's not forever. They get that. And it's not going to be beautiful forever. And they know he's a different guy. They know Hackett's a different guy, but Hackett's his guy. And so let's go try to win at a moment that we can. I mean, if somebody in their division was 5-0, I don't know that you do this. I really don't.
No, but you're right. A win Monday night, and you're up there at the top with a game advantage on the Bills. All right. What did you guys work on, accomplish during the bye week? Apparently, there is no quarterback controversy because management made it very clear Will Levis is still the guy. Mason Rudolph, though, did deliver when he had to. It's what a backup's supposed to.
Yeah, he played fine. I mean, he was 9 of 17 for 85 yards.
Right.
We threw three passes in the second half. What he did was function as a proper backup quarterback, and that was well done.
Right.
But I think a lot of people understand where we are with Levis at this moment based on the fact that from a physical gift standpoint, Will Levis is through the roof special. And we're going to do everything we can to give him a chance to prove he's that guy. Because if he is, he gives you a weapon like few others in the league with the arm that he has. The other part of it, too, Dave, is if it works. Let's say Will Levis becomes that guy. Remember, he was a second-round pick. So you're not paying first-round money for him.
Right.
Much like Russell Wilson in Seattle, much like Tom Brady in New England in the day, much like other situations, Dak Prescott in Dallas. They get paid later, yes, but the front-end money that they have is not as great, which allows you to, A, plan for when you're going to have to pay them so you can properly budget, and B, you can pay other people. You can pay your guys and keep them. You can bring in free agents where you need a spot. You can be good for 10 years. So the Titans would be foolish in the minds of people who do the salary cap X. If you're just taking numbers, if you're just an analytics person, you would be foolish not to take every opportunity to see that you can potentially make this work to the best of your ability. And the other thing, too, is they believe in him. The coaching staff believes in Will Levis. They believe he's going to get it. They believe he's going to get more comfortable. They believe he's going to improve. So you can take the faith aspect of it. You can take the mathematical aspect of it. You can take the pragmatic view of it. You can do whatever you want. But Will Levis is this team's quarterback, and that's the way it's going to continue to work for the Tennessee Titans, barring something dramatic that's clearly unseen right now.
And,
if he's ready to go Sunday, if the doctors say he's okay and he's comfortable playing, he's playing.
And an opportunity Sunday, because you look at your division, my goodness, you're 2-3. If you beat Indy, you're tied for second. The Texans are clearly the best team in the division, but you've got something
for now.
Yeah, for now. For now,
yeah,
I agree with that.
And that's what you don't know. I mean, the last 2 years, the division winner has come from 3 to 4 games back to end up winning the division. And you would have never thought either of the teams that won it would have won it even in November, let alone in September or October.
Right.
So there are 27 teams right now in the NFL, 27 who have 2 or more losses. So, I mean, it goes back to what Brian Callahan said right after we beat Miami, Dave. He made the point. He goes, we're right back in this thing. And we're 1-3, and on the surface, you're going, well, that's kind of strange. But the reality is you are. I mean, we're the second-place team overall. We're in second in our division if we win on Sunday. Not tied. We're in second.
It's crazy.
And so at that point, you say, okay, let's see what happens. And so you've got an Indy team that has a lot of injuries and a team that, doesn't historically play as well on the road. They've got some quarterback issues. They've got some things going on, and, it's a division game, and we don't have another one until the Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So it is a vitally important game to the Titans. We didn't win a division game last year until the last Sunday of the season, Dave. So we need to turn that around quickly.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to talk about it next Tuesday. As always, enlightening stuff. A pleasure to chat with you. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, David.
That's Mike Keith. He's the voice of the Titans, and he's brought to you by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. They want to get to know you and help you out. If it's a dream home, if it's land, if it's a remodel, they do it. And here's the thing, 75 years, third generation. Here's what Ken Garland will tell you. The job's never done. He's always there to guide you to make sure any problems, something that didn't work out the way you thought, he's going to make sure it's all fixed. It's all perfect. It's the way you want to. Go to KenGarland.com. See how it began with Ken Sr., Ken Jr., now a third generation. They do it the right way. They really do care, and they have so many different expertises. They see the little details and the big picture all at once. They're special. They're the place to go. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. That'll do it for us. Tomorrow will be interesting. Dennis Philippi, Business of Sports with Joe Dank, Jason Munns on a basketball season that actually an exhibition game starts next Tuesday. Holy smokes. We'll see you then. Have a great day, everybody.
Fall is football at the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland, Town Square. Monday through Friday is happy hour from 3 to 6 with $1 off all draft meals, $5 off well drinks, $4.50 for house wine, and half off pretzel bites, mozzarella sticks, queso, corn dogs, and pickles. Then do Friday night lights from 7 to closing. Dine in and buy 12 wings and get 5 regular wings for free. Come watch college football and every pro game on the weekends. All at the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland, Town Square. Highway 70. Fall is football.
Hi friends, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and for 39 years we've been the personal jewelers for thousands of Memphians and Mid-Southerners. For a very long time we've been offering the finest and beautiful jewelry to help our customers celebrate those very special occasions and let their loved ones know just how treasured they are. Diamonds and the finest gemstones are our specialty. Set in whatever she wants, a ring or a pendant, a pair of earrings or a bracelet. We search the world's jewelry markets looking for pieces that are not only exquisite and beautiful, but also unique and eye-catching. We can help you make her smile in a way that neither one of you will ever forget. Come see us at Russell Brothers. Let us put our many years of experience to work for you. Let us help you say I love you in the best way you can imagine. 5 decades providing beauty, value, quality, and service. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Power at Perkins.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you